Ubisoft have just released an end-of-year roadmap of all of the upcoming content that will be released in Assassin's Creed Shadows to close out 2025, with a lot of changes coming to the game that I'm going to break down for you in the usual no-nonsense fashion, so you can decide if it's actually worth booting the game back up, downloading it, and logging in, either now or in the coming weeks and months. Now, there are 3 title updates confirmed to arrive before the new year. The first is landing very soon on October 28th, followed by the usual 5-week gap until the second update on November the 25th, and then, unusually, just a few weeks after that, we will get the final big title update on December the 2nd. I actually had the pleasure of joining a Teams call with Simon, the post-launch director for the game, alongside some familiar faces here you may recognize, some awesome AC creators who I very much enjoy watching and respect deeply, where we had the chance to ask him some questions about all of these upcoming updates last week, and he actually shared some details that haven't been mentioned in Ubisoft's official roadmap trailer, which you may have already watched, or any of their press releases, so some juicy info to go through here with you. But first, let's break down what's included in this first title update coming next week on Tuesday, October the 28th. Now, this update will include 3 major additions to the game. We have new parkour moves, we've got corrupted castle events, and we have a Abstergo android cyborg kind of armor set that Simon did tease with us during the call. We will go through that shortly, but let's start with this second parkour focused update following the first improvement patch that we got back in May, if I remember correctly. But this one's coming with some notable new features. Let's go through them now. Firstly, there is a new advanced parkour toggle setting in the settings menu, which is off by default. But if you do decide to turn it on after this update's downloaded, it will allow Naoe and Yasuke to perform far more unrestricted movements while free running around the game. In actual fact, listen to what Simon says about this here.
Yes, Shadows, I would say, much closer to what the old school parkour people want.
Now, I'm sure some of you will be chef's kiss. That's exactly what you want to hear, right? But what exactly can you do with this setting enabled? Well, first of all, back and side ejects that were added in that first May update let you hop sideways to another wall grip mid-climb, or you can kind of ping-pong between opposing walls to then gain height faster while parkouring in this game. Now, the further upgrade to this here is that you can now side or back eject off walls at any height with this setting turned on, whereas before it was only possible if you had the correct wall in place or angle to then jump to. Now, the team has also added the ability to side eject down to the ground, which might sound minor, but it does make things feel far more fluid and intentional in game, even if you don't realize it, as the new animation removes the need to kind of just smash circle on your controller to kind of disengage and drop from that wall. Shouldn't be any need to do that very much anymore. Now, in that same first parkour update, you may also remember that they introduced the vertical ledge grab, which was a new move in the series that allowed Naoe and Yasuke to automatically jump and grab most overhangs or ledges in the game, saving you from kind of awkwardly running underneath that overhang and then getting up on top of it. Now, this update expands that move, so beams, lanterns, poles, and just standard standalone objects in the world will trigger this same auto jump grab move, even without the advanced parkour setting enabled, which is a good thing, in my opinion. Now, thirdly, they're also adding a brand new move called the Directional Catch Ledge, which some of you OG Assassin's Creed fans might remember using back in Assassin's Creed 1 through to Unity, if I remember correctly. And this lets you jump from a very high height in game and then catch a ledge on your way down, where you will still take some fall damage, but you won't die from it. Now, if you want to see how this worked in the older titles and where they've got this from, I would really recommend checking out Leo K's old school parkour breakdown on YouTube. I will link it, the video down below in the description. I've actually met him in person, and he is just a top dude all around. Got so much time for him, and he is an absolute expert on these classic AC movements as well as stealth, so definitely check that video out if you are interested. So it is awesome to see the development team bringing this back into Shadows. It was one of the most satisfying mechanics back in the day if you did manage to get it right. Now, the team is also introducing a manual jump, though it isn't a full manual jump or one that you can trigger anytime throughout this game. This version actually only works on non-standing objects. So, for example, if you are sprinting across a rooftop, you can now press X on your controller to then hop up to the next elevated surface or ledge on that roof that is ahead of you, whereas before this update, Naoe or Yasuke would only just vault up once when you you were like right up against it, if you know what I mean. So this change makes your parkour flow faster and it's more responsive if you do press X at the right time. That said, when I asked Simon if we will ever see a fully controllable manual jump in shadows or any other parkour focused updates to come, he said this.
So never say never, but for the foreseeable future, this is it. This is the parkour update. I'm still trying to wiggle the manual jump in one of the future updates we have, but that would be the only thing I think that we can hope for parkour in shadows, unless we have a much bigger update that is size of a DLC or something, expansion.
So if you would like to see more of this kind of parkour content, upgrades added in future shadows updates, definitely let the developers know down below in the comments. They genuinely read comments on these YouTube videos and it really helps push these features through into the game if you are very vocal about what you want or what you don't want in the game. So do take the time to do that. Speaking of which, while you're actually down there in the comment section sharing your own thoughts, please hit the new hype button and the like button. It genuinely helps fight all of this AI slop and bot spam that's been creeping up all over YouTube lately. I know it annoys you as much as it does for me. So cheers for the support. I am a real person. I'm not a bot, and a quick tap on your screen does go a long way and helps me keep making these videos for you in the years to come. So thanks very much again. Now, what are all of these corrupted castles about then? Well, in that same parkour, or this same parkour update, I should say, the team's also rolling out a new seasonal mechanic that refreshes 5 castles every season in game, and these will be marked on your map with this new icon. If I just kind of zoom in here for you, as you can see. Now, these locations will feature Animus anomaly events and even spawn these corrupted die show bosses, which are much tougher than just the standard normal ones in game, even on nightmare difficulty. And they then drop Animus reward chests and Animus keys that you can then spend inside the Animus Battle Pass. Well, it's not called that, but that's what it is, right? So to activate these corrupted castles, you'll first need to clear all the castles in game. And when I asked Simon about extra replayability or challenge modes that are tied to these new corrupted castles, this is what he had to say about it.
Is there any challenges in relation to some of these? So for example, kill 3 die show in a minute or something like that?
I wish we could. It was a stretch goal and we didn't manage to do it. Other projects need help, and everyone helped us on Shadows, so we have to send the elevator back to them. But so no, we don't have additional challenges, but we thought of it and we tried it, and resources, man.
So if you are already engaging with the Animus Hub and its Battle Pass rewards, these corrupted castles will give you a solid combat challenge. Plus, again, in Simon's own words, I'm going to play this for you here.
It's a good way to farm gold and I think keys as well.
So yeah, it is a grind mechanic, but he also didn't stop there. He teased a new armor set, and I'm sure you're going to want to have a look at what this one is. So actually, let's take a look at that right now. And this one's called the Android or Cyborg armor set, according to Simon in that team's call. And honestly, it does look very familiar to that modern day Abstergo inspired armor set that we saw in Odyssey and Valhalla a few years back, which was first spotted in the game files by our good friend Pedder of the channel before the release. Now, we don't know the full pack details just yet, but Simon did give us a quick visual tease here on your screen, which does come with the voice dilation effects that activate when you do equip the set, creating this kind of mechanical cyborg style voice filter. We didn't hear it on the call, unfortunately, but just expect that to happen if you do decide to pick up this set. Now, actually, that's a great transition onto this topic, because I know a lot of you just aren't fans of microtransaction packs in Assassin's Creed games, and that actually came up during our call or during our chat, and I found it really refreshing that Simon said this.
We have more free stuff coming as well, so we're trying to balance. It's a delicate balance. I know that everything that pays for the parkour update that we can do in the free drops that we can do is pretty much MTX.
And I want to play this as well, because he followed up with, in my opinion, another honest take on this.
Some people think it's annoying or icky, but it's optional.
And I do find myself agreeing with him. I mean, you don't have to engage with it if you don't want to, but it does fund new content that then is released for us for free. In fact, I did take the opportunity to tell the Shadows boss here my honest thoughts about this directly, so do listen to this as well.
You should talk about that more, you know. I think you'd get less grief if you said, hey, all this free content, by the way, is because of MTX. Because looking at this armor set, you know there's going to be a shed load of posts about this online. Just it's going to go crazy, and I don't think it's going to be in a great positive way.
So yeah, I mean, I really liked how transparent Simon was about it. It's the first time we've had someone from Ubisoft be pretty open about these kind of things in many years, and I personally have no issue with that. But I want to know what you think about this down below. I want to know your thoughts. You're going to have to let everybody know, but you can also expect this Cyborg set to drop next week, and I of course will have a full breakdown for you then. But before we do that, we've got one more piece of content coming here, and that is the Isu puzzle update. So what on earth is that all about? Well, this forms part of our third story update for the year. And what I mean by that is the first of those updates was a quest involving Louis Foire back in May. And then the second story update was the Rufino ally quest back in June. Now, this is the third one, of course, and it's called Puzzlement. And it's been written with a little bit more humor this time. It's not so serious, doesn't take itself seriously. And it's been described as a very Odyssey orientated banter format between Naoe and Yasuke here, where they each learn a new ability from one another after a friendly duel. Now, Naoe picks up a version of Yasuke's wall kick, sending enemies flying back essentially, and Yasuke learns how to perform a silent, non-lethal takedown instead of his usual loud execution move. Now, during this quest, we're introduced to a new cave area, which isn't part of the questline itself, according to Simon, but it does lead into a hidden Isu chamber that's built as a massive environmental puzzle containing answers that apparently players have been speculating about for months, according to Ubisoft. Now, the idea here is that the community works together to decode these glyphs on the cave walls scattered across the open world, very similar to the Odin rune hunt that we had back in Valhalla, which I did cover in multiple videos on the channel. Time is absolutely flying. It's nearly 3-4 years ago now. Crazy. Anyway, Simon called this laborious, meaning it won't be solved overnight, which I think is a good thing, and it gives us something proper to chase between updates for those of us who are still engaging with this game. In fact, I will have a dedicated breakdown video out soon covering this Isu clues and some exclusive hints that Simon shared with us on the call, because we've got more to go through, as that's not all for this November update, because there is a special collaboration event coming up as well. So what on earth is all that about? Now, this will be the second special collaboration event, or the third, it depends how you categorize them. But the first was the Dead by Daylight crossover back in May. And the second was the Critical Role collaboration in June that was involving the new ally Rufino and a weapon pack. Now, while Simon didn't confirm who Ubisoft is partnering with this time, he did kind of tease it in the trailer. In fact, I'm going to play this for you here. Listen to what he has to say.
Can't say too much for now because we don't want to spoil the surprise, but let's just say that it's big.
And I also just can't help myself. I'm going to have to drop this meme off the back of that right now.
That's what she said.
Michael, please. Please.
Now, this ties perfectly into a recent Reddit post from RabbitWombat93, who said, I didn't realize there was an Attack on Titan collab happening after spotting this huge glitched NPC in game. And I actually think he's onto something here, because the Attack on Titan is a Japanese manga or anime series where humanity hides behind these massive walls from giant titans that just love eating people as a staple part of their diet. In fact, you may remember back in Valhalla when you fast travel to Ravensthorpe, some of you may have heard that random dragon roar sound file happen as a glitch on the menu screen when you did fast travel. Well, that turned out to be an early hint from the developers towards the Forgotten Saga DLC, where we then went on to fight Nidhogg the dragon with the same sound recording file. So in my opinion, we should definitely expect this Attack on Titan crossover event drop in November, likely with better quest rewards than the smaller trinkets or banners as rewards that we received from other collaborations like Red Bull or Dead by Daylight. In fact, Simon confirmed this on the call.
So for the next content we're going to drop, the next free quest, there's always a cool weapon or a cool armor piece or something, which is in the quest itself.
That's really good. Because like as Jordan said, just getting the trinkets, it sucked really, to be honest with you. So adding those extra bits in, it would go a long way. So I think that's great.
Which is positive, which means that they recognize that the rewards that they offered before sucked and they were a waste of time. So hopefully we get some good stuff here. But that's not the end of the roadmap, because what about that final December update? What is happening with that one? Well, before we do go through that, quick note, most of you are still watching. Many of you for many years aren't subscribed. So if you want to stay up to date on Assassin's Creed Shadows and everything coming next, make sure you hit that sub button. I have been covering this series for years, and I will keep breaking down every new update, leak, DLC drop as it happens. So thanks very much for your support. It generally helps me keep these deep dives coming your way frequently. Now, this was a surprise announcement, or maybe not, depending upon how you look at it, but a pretty big one, as Assassin's Creed Shadows will be officially launching on the Nintendo Switch 2 on December the 2nd. The catch here is that while it will include all current title updates, performance patches, free content drops, it will not include the Claws of Awaji expansion just yet. That will arrive a little later on in the new year as part of this next content wave coming to that platform. However, what is really cool here is that cross progression is confirmed, meaning that you can just jump straight from your main console PC PC, wherever you play Shadows, save your game, and then you can switch to your Switch 2 and then pick up exactly where you left off. So whether you're playing at home or you're on the go, your progression unlocks and even your Animus keys will carry over seamlessly. Apparently, we will see, but it is a good addition to those of you who then travel and you want to grind some collectibles from your bed. You know, you're going to be able to do that if you want to. But speaking of good stuff, I'm not so sure that's good stuff, but Simon has also confirmed we can expect a wave of free content drops around the Christmas period as well, the holiday period, including a bunch of new sneaky stuff added at the bottom here of this roadmap promo poster. In fact, when I asked Simon directly about what's coming next year in that same team's call, this is what he had to say.
This is not our last roadmap video either. So we're not done yet. So we do it by chunks of 3 months. So here's the next 3 months, and then here's the next 3 months. So we're all the way up to the holidays, and then after in the new year we should have a new one.
So good news if you're a Shadows fan, that does confirm that a roadmap reveal will be happening early next year, which likely means more free content, new quests, and possibly even another expansion kicking off into 2026. We shall see. There is of course lots more to talk about, which I cover in these follow-up videos on your screen right now. So give those a click and I will see you there in just a second. Huge thanks again to Simon and the Ubisoft team for actually just taking the time to walk us through all these updates. They were super open, very transparent, enthusiastic, very patient. So thanks to them. As always, cheers to Nika for helping me make this video for you. And as usual, coffee is on me.